Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. Uh-oh, he might be running a little bit behind. But in any event, thanks everybody for tuning in for another week of sports talk around the National Football League. Man, we got a lot of stuff to get into. But first and foremost, thanks everybody for tuning in. Whether you're watching us live, we are simulcasting on Roku, Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Take a minute if you're not on YouTube, and please join. We are at Parker Media Network, Empower TV on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Instagram as well as YouTube TV as well. There he is. How we doing, sir?
What's up, man?
What's what's going on? Yeah, so we are streaming on all those different channels. Take a second, uh, join on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We appreciate all that, as well as Roku TV. This is our man. What's this? Fifth season, sixth season? Yeah, getting into
I can't remember.
yeah, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, yeah, it's season 6. Yeah. I lose track to y'all. This is season 6 of us recapping the NFL, the games and everything else going all the way through the Super Bowl. So we'll have um, this past week to get into, concluding off with tonight's um, Monday night football game between the Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. And then we'll get into officially week 12. So two-thirds of the season ran is already in the books.
Yeah, going quickly. Enjoying it. Enjoying it.
Yeah, this past week wasn't nearly as crazy as some previous weeks, but there still was some cray going on. And we'll definitely get into that this week. But now that we're two-thirds in, you really start to look at the playoff picture and how it starts to shape up. And yes, there's still a lot of room for things to take place, but uh, I kind of wanted to look at it real quick to start the show off, so we don't try to cram it in at the end. As far as where a lot of these teams currently stand in the AFC ran, your division winners right now are the 9-2 Denver Broncos, who continue to impress. Also at 9-2, leading the AFC East, are the New England Patriots, who are like on an 8-game winning streak.
Crazy.
Eight crazy at 8-2. Look, I think if I would have said at the beginning of the year or even into preseason that the top 4 in the AFC would be the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, you would have damn well need to call the right coach. You might have had to call the man on that.
Yeah, that's that's in a lot of people's minds. That was supposed to be the I guess the wards.
Yeah. I mean, we all were looking at the Chiefs being in the leading their division. We were looking at the Bills to lead their division. The Colts, not as much of a surprise. It was kind of a flip between whether they were going to take that step forward, whether the Texans were going to take a step back, whether Sunshine and the Jags were going to come to the party or not. So the Colts, but I would still say that the biggest surprise about the Colts is their record of 8-2. And then there were the
That's
Steelers.
also
I don't know who the hell these guys are. And we're gonna get into that too because I'm sitting there watching this Pittsburgh game. Like I don't never know what to expect from these people. Um, one day they play the lowest scoring games in the world. Next thing you know, they's like a offensive powerhouse. So I just don't know what the hell to say about these damn Steelers. But when you look at wild card teams, you've got the Bills, the Chargers, and the Jaguars sitting there and currently in position for the wild card. And notice I haven't said the Chiefs, the Texans, the Ravens, who are still in the playoff hunt, but two of them are at 5-5, the Chiefs and the Texans. I'm sorry, three of them at 5-5, the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Ravens. And the Jaguars are slightly better at 6-4. So there's your playoff right there.
I tell you what, the Kansas City Chiefs had better pick it up. They got the toughest road out of all them teams you just named. They
They
better
could.
pick it up.
They might not even make it as a wild card. Now, the only thing that might help them as a wild card is, and even though the Chargers are at 7-4, they do not look good at all.
The Chargers are just as iffy as the Steelers are. I mean,
Right.
sometimes they are very good, and then they surprise you like this past week versus Jacksonville, completely wetting the bed.
Yeah.
So, sometimes their
But you know what?
defense.
I actually picked Jacksonville to win that game, only because from what I've been seeing Jacksonville do consistently lately has given me more faith in Jacksonville to show up at games. The iffiness of the Chargers causes me to not look at them as a favorite. Can they win
Yeah.
any game? Yes, but can they lose any game? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes them so iffy. I mean, they got like one of the NFL's best defenses, and sometimes that defense will show and limit like my Steelers to 10 points. And
Right.
then other times they take a whole week off and they allow Jacksonville to score. I don't even know how many points Jacksonville had yesterday.
Crazy.
But yeah, and then their offense don't show up all the time either. So
Right. That's the biggest thing. That's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. And again, everybody talks about, and we'll get into it too, but everybody talks about Justin Herbert, the talent, the size, the arm strength, everything else. But it's gotta at some point equate to regular season success that then puts you in a position for having postseason success. But all these is the same thing though. I'm gonna be honest. People said about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, before Trevor hit the NFL and he was in Clemson, oh man, he gonna get to the NFL. He gonna light it up because he's got this, he's got that, and they even gave him a second contract that he did not earn. And it was like, oh my God, what's going on? And I'm starting to see the same thing with Herbert. To be honest with you, I can't tell me too much difference between Herbert and Trevor Lawrence at this point.
there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, both of those guys have, been crowned before they achieved. So
Yeah, I saw that somewhere Lamar Jackson was voted most overrated quarterback, and I'm sitting there thinking about Lawrence and Herbert, and I'm like, wait a minute, really?
yeah, how was Jackson voted most overrated? I mean, he's
Yeah,
at least
right.
done the job to get him to championship games. I mean, come on.
Exactly. Like, their team, the Ravens, wouldn't even have half the success that they have if he wasn't their quarterback. So
Right. At least he's got an MVP under his belt. I mean,
two of them.
yeah, Herbert and Lawrence ain't got none of that.
No, no, and not setting themselves up for anytime soon. So we'll definitely see how that goes. And so that's your playoff picture in the AFC. Your wild cards, those that are still technically in the hunt, and they're in the hunt only because they haven't been mathematically eliminated. But as you stated, a lot of them got some really really hard games ahead of them. Of course, you got the bottom feeder teams, the Bengals, the Raiders, the Jets, the Browns, and the Texans that are not going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
Um, on
Season's
the
done.
on the NFC side, still two surprises I would say out of this bunch of four at the top. Eagles, I wouldn't say is a surprise, even though I was surprised they won yesterday. I'd actually picked the Lions, so I feel kind of bad that maybe I didn't have enough faith in my Eagles. And then you've got the Raiders.
You always shortchange the Eagles, man. And they
Man,
just all they do is win for you.
I love them, but I'm sitting there thinking about the high-powered offense of the Lions. I'm thinking about Jameer Gibbs going crazy, and he actually did, and they still found a way to just rattle Jared Goff, which I didn't see that happening. But just between their receivers, Jameson Williams, I didn't realize Laporta wasn't playing, but Jameson Williams, but you still got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got that two-headed monster in the backfield of Montgomery and Gibbs. Those guys are very formidable. And I wasn't looking past them at all. And if they could limit Jalen Hurts' ability to get the ball downfield and play vertical and keep trying to, play off passes to Saquon and Dotson and Goddard, that wasn't going to get it done if he couldn't find AJ Brown or Devontae Smith consistently going downfield. It was going to be a hard night for the Eagles. And the thing that I worried about in that game was if the Eagles got behind, would they have enough offensive prowess to be able to play from behind? And they never had to worry about it.
That defense was lights out.
The defense, the defense came to play. That I don't know what got into that defense, but we need more of that because a lot of times when your offense ain't doing what it need to be doing, a defense like that will close the gap real good.
If you could do that to the Detroit Lions offense, you are ready to win another Super Bowl.
Bam.
That was impressive as all hell last night.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like they just wiped them out because Detroit still had yards. But once they started getting close to the red zone, it was just game over. They were not around it.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot
of times it was when they got in the plus
crazy, man.
Yeah. A lot of times, Rand, when they got in the plus territory and they got as close as to 40, they started shutting them down to keep them out of field goal range. And I was like,
exactly. Damn. And then they go for it on fourth down and try to,
now that
first down
conversion. I think that screwed them a lot.
Wiped out of that too. So
that screwed them out a lot too because I had Philly's defense sitting on my sideline and I should have played them because they had over 20 something points just because of all the fourth down stops.
Hate when that happens. You think you're doing the right thing in your mind by starting a defense or sitting a defense, I should say, and then they come through for you, like Pittsburgh yesterday. I had them on the bench.
But here was my choice of defenses: Philly or Detroit. I have them both.
Well, you didn't do bad. I mean, Detroit's defense was not bad either.
No, I didn't do terrible, but Philly's defense was 2 times better.
Oh yeah.
Only because Dan Campbell decided that he was going to be Billy Badass and keep going for it on fourth down, and I was just like, I mean, that's his forte. And then even and then the one time he was going to punt it, tried to fake the punt, and they were waiting on that too. I was like, damn.
It was, for me, it was like Pittsburgh. I had the defense on my bench, and as soon as Duggars got that pick six, I'm like, yes! And then I'm like, wait, no! Should have started.
No. But the 2 surprises that I feel like ran for the NFC is you've got the Bears leading their division at 7-3, and I'm sorry, and not the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers technically are 6-4, but they have not had is it them that haven't had a bye or the Panthers? Somebody ain't had a bye yet.
I don't believe Panthers have had a bye.
Panthers haven't had a bye. That's what it is, because technically the Bucs are at a win percentage of 60%. The Panthers are at a win percentage of 54.5%, but it's because they've played one more game than the Buccaneers have. They both have 6 wins, Rand.
That is insane. The Carolina Panthers to be half a game out of first in the South. Did not see it coming at all. At all. But I'm pleased with it, and props to Bryce Young, man. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, we're gonna get in that too because he had himself a performance that would normally take about 4 games. So you're just 2 guys watching other guys play with inflatable balls. Yeah, kind of like how most sports shows are. There's multiple guys watching other guys play with inflatable balls. That would be true. Whoever the hell that is. I don't think that's not normal. Maybe I don't know what country you're coming in from, but stick around in the US. We do this all the time, and there's always sports reporters tuning in from sports reporters tuning in from all over the place that do the exact same thing. But yes, anyway, yes, we've got the 6-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in currently in their division by half a game. If they start to lose, I like MMA. I'm from Daytona, Ohio. I mean Dayton, Ohio. Well, welcome from Dayton, Ohio. Um, Brain, still there? Says I got your audio. Never been a guy who likes to play with balls. Okay, very interesting. Um, the rounding out the rest of the playoff picture is going to be the 7-3 Seattle Seahawks, still contending in that NFC West. See, we got ran back. There we go.
All right, back in this thing.
All righty. I was just rounding it out. Yeah, we've got the 7-3 Seahawks in fifth place, the Green Bay Packers in sixth, and the San Francisco 49ers in seventh. So still that fight that we thought we were going to see between the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Rams ran. So that division is pretty strong. Really thought the NFC North was going to be a tad bit stronger with Minnesota, Detroit, and potentially Chicago doing their thing. But currently, the Lions are right on the cusp of the wild card at 6-4. The Vikings are not in it right now at all at 4-6. They would have to have some serious work to do after 10 games, only seven left. They're at the cusp where they would almost have to run the table uh, to get to 11-6, or even if they lost one, they could only really go 6-1 the rest of the way to even have a chance to be able to make it in. And then after that, you got a bunch of 3-win teams, whether it's the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Falcons, and the Commanders, and then two-win teams between the Saints and the Giants. So those teams are definitely out of it. The fact that the Carolina Panthers right now are 2 games out of the wild card at 6-5 is 11 games in
Didn't see it coming.
is absolutely amazing.
Did not
It's
see
ab-
it coming. Yeah.
oh man, who the f are the Commanders? Oh Lord, I must be getting all these bots this week. That's crazy. All right, well let's look into Rand some of these games that did happen over the last couple of days. It started out with the Jets at the Patriots last Thursday, which was going to be, I thought it was going to be a easier game for the Patriots, but they finally kind of came on later into the game, let the Jets kind of, score first, and then they didn't score at all in the first quarter. The Jets took a lot of time off the clock, methodically went down the field. I think it took 7 minutes, and I think it was captivated with Justin Fields going into the end zone. Um, who has since been benched. It looks like, according to reports, for Tyrod Taylor. And we'll talk about some other benchings too. Um, and then the Patriots just turned it on after that. The Jets just turned on literally for the Patriots. Drake May just continues to sizzle 25 of 34, 281 yards and a touchdown. Travion Henderson still helping that ground game out tremendously. Only put up 62 yards in that game, but just dominated the entire game. Ran once after the Jets scored. Um, I mean, the Patriots just did anything they wanted to basically do against the Jets.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tyrod Taylor stepping up, and our boy Justin Fields getting sent to the bench. It's like, wow.
So my question with that though is, Rand. So Justin didn't work out in Chicago, didn't work out in Pittsburgh. The Jets paid him a pretty good ransom to get him over to their team, and it's been nothing but inconsistency, turmoil, some of the same things that we saw a little bit in Pittsburgh of not pushing the ball down the field, holding on to the ball too long, unnecessary sacks, etc., putting the ball in harm's way. Is he done? And I don't mean for just the
I
Jets,
don't.
but is he done?
I think at this point, Justin Fields will be a backup, a career backup. Um, I think it's time to use the B word on him, man.
Oh God,
Kid's a
yes,
bust. It is
yeah.
a bust. So yeah, it's time for career backup status for him. I don't think he'll get another opportunity as a starter in this league. That's just my opinion. And if he does get another chance as a starter, I think you'll see the same type of play.
Who the f are
So
the
yeah,
Commanders? Are they a new team? The Commanders are the old Redskins. They're in Washington. There we
who
go.
who who is
Somebody had
this?
asked me that. I don't know. I just don't know.
Like, what is going on right
I
now?
don't know. My YouTube presence has been growing, but I don't know if some of those are real people or if they're bots or what. So I don't know, but I've been getting like crazy views on YouTube. Um, so I'm not sure, but they asked the question 3 different times, like what city and state. So even though DC is not a city, when did they change their name? You're gonna have to Google that. Google that for me. Let us know. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Are we a sports fan? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I think he's going to be a career backup if he continues. Or he's going to be this gimmick player ran when they come in. They're gonna line him in as a quarterback, but put him more like in wildcat situations, RPO situations, and things like that, where um to another team when he lines up back there, he's a threat to run. I
Yeah,
can
he'll
see
be the same
that.
as the dude from the Saints.
Yes, like a Taysom Hill, but a
He'll
smaller
be
version.
another Taysom Hill. Yep.
Yeah, he'll just do it more from a guy that can be effective at throwing the ball, but they're going to put him in there when it's time to use his legs, or if you've got a really good starting quarterback that you don't want to get hurt on a 4th and 1, maybe you put him in there to run it or something like that. Even though I wouldn't put him in. I kind of like how the Ravens use Mark Andrews for their tush push because he's a lot
Oh
bigger
man,
than
what a
they
hell
want.
of a call! What a
Right.
hell of a call!
I mean, that's been a thing for them, and I know Andrews probably gets a kick out of it, but that is crazy. I was like, "Oh man, that made so much sense though, because he's a big dude."
Yeah, even though
I
that
mean,
made me
big
mad, it was a hell of a
poetry.
call.
So you got that. Then we had the early game. I believe it was in Spain between the Commanders and the Dolphins. We knew that the Dolphins were going to struggle because Jaden Daniels is going to be out. Marcus Mariota is in at quarterback. Um, but still not knowing what you're going to get out of Tua from game to game. Of course, not having Cheetah in there. You still got Jalen Waddle. But Devon Achan came to play in that game, 21 carries, 120 yards. And that really ran just what the game was about. It wasn't a pretty game at all. The score was only 13-16. Um, Mariota didn't play terrible. He was 20 of 30 for 213 and a touchdown and a pick. Debo had a pretty good game as well, but and Tua just kept the chains moving when he needed to, but not a whole lot of offense, just a lot of defense back and forth.
Yeah, the Commanders have had such a disappointing season. I mean, it is just gone completely to the crapper. We're
Hmm.
looking at a team in the preseason where we're thinking they might be able to compete with the Eagles uh, for that crown in the NFC East,
Hmm.
and they have completely wet the bed with that. Now, again, it has been a lot of injuries and stuff that they're dealing with, but it's also been a lot of bad play and bad decisions and just bad timing.
Let me ask you
Um,
this, because this is one thing that I said last year when the Commanders had the success that they did. Now, because I've seen this before, peaking too soon. Teams getting success before they truly understand what that success is. Not know, when they say, "Oh man, they're doing so good," because they don't know what they don't know. Like nobody expected them to be there, or if they're a couple of years ahead of schedule.
yeah,
Sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes that means that if you don't know really what it took to get there, you ain't gonna know how to get back. Um,
Yeah,
it's going because what you're saying is that hey, we got there, but it really wasn't because we sat there and followed a certain plan. We got there. Now we're here. We can be play free because nobody expected us here. We can just enjoy the moment. Or it can also be a thing ran to me that you then think it's too easy to get back. Man, we got here so seemingly easily last year. We can still, I'm not questioning necessarily their focus or anything like that, but you look at it and go, was last year so easy for them that they kind of took it for granted a little bit? And that's kind of what can happen when you peak too soon.
yeah. You never know that unless you're like inside the locker room, I guess. But
Yeah,
the one thing for certain they've dealt with is injuries.
injuries
You
are
got
big. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Daniels that has missed time, McLaurin who has missed a bunch of time. Those are your top two weapons on offense right there, and then they got a whole rash of defensive injuries.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it has just not been their year at all, man.
Well, I feel bad because I picked them to finish second to keep the cow bitches out of second, um, and that just ain't working out right now. And I kind of hate that because their gain is definitely Dallas's pain. So
Yeah, it's still a lot of time though. I mean, they got the same amount of wins as the cow bitches. So
that is true.
yep,
And if my Cardinals can, I say my Cardinals. If my Cardinals, I mean not my Cardinals, my Raiders can come through tonight, which I'm gonna say it right now. Even though I've picked Dallas to win, I am not gonna be surprised if they lose.
nothing surprises me in prime time anymore.
I mean, am I gonna be total? And for two reasons. To one, you just said nothing surprised me in prime time, but I don't know what Geno Smith I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
Am I gonna get the Geno that throws for 300 yards, three touchdowns, and maybe an interception, or am I gonna get the Geno that throws for 145 yards, three turnovers, and they try to continue to run even though they're down by two touchdowns? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know what I'm gonna get.
they're gonna have to get it figured out offensively. Gino no longer has Jacoby Myers. He's done stepped over to not Baltimore, Jacksonville. So that's what it was like their top receiving weapon.
But you saw who they picked up, right?
Who did they pick up?
Tyler Lockett.
Oh, they got Tyler Lockett now. He's kind
Yeah.
of washed, ain't he? Though.
Well, we'll find out. I
We
don't
will
know.
find out.
I don't know if he's washed or if he just wasn't being used because wasn't he with Tennessee?
Yeah, where he was really washed. He was effective last stop in when he was in Seattle. And
Yeah,
then after Seattle,
and
I
even
don't really
when
know what
Russ
happened.
left, he was still pretty effective.
Yeah, he
But
was.
I guess he made a name for himself when he played with Russ because Russ would throw him all those moon balls, and him and Metcalf would go get those things and take it to the house. Um, I will tell you this: it will at least give them some depth at wide receiver, even if he's not a one or a two. Could he be a decent three? Maybe. Especially when Brock Bowers has kind of been a little up and down this year because of his knee. Um, Lockett could kind of spell some reps where you're not trying to get your tight end so much involved in the passing game. You can be able to use Lockett in a lot of those different route tree combinations. So that'll definitely be interesting to see.
They're gonna have to because I mean, who you got left? You got who? Trey Tucker. I mean,
Right? Exactly.
I don't even recognize any other names. So
Yeah. So if you are automatically get Lockett out there, that's probably
de facto number one. I mean, he's got the most experience for sure.
and
So
that's what I was looking at is that what maybe he's lost in some of athleticism, maybe he's gained a lot more um in just his experience and stuff like that. I see Devontae Adams switching to that something. Now he's still got some attributes, but what makes Devontae good now too is that he's killing you with his head too, as much as he is with his body.
yeah,
So maybe the right quarterback, right circumstance. Not saying Geno's that right quarterback, but Geno can be good in a game. If you isolate Geno just in a game and don't look for that game to translate to the next game, you never know what you're gonna get.
Well, I
He's that
mean,
guy.
he was awesome 2 years ago, and he wasn't bad last year. It's just
Right.
this year with the Raiders just took a sharp downhill turn. And we talk about this all the time. You just never know when a quarterback is going to start, declining. And
Yeah.
I think you're also seeing the decline of a quarterback right before your eyes in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that one too. Yeah, that's crazy. But yesterday we had the Packers go against the G-men, and the G-men are doing um, exactly what they've been doing all season. Have a lead, lose a lead, lose the game. Doesn't matter if it's Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, or I can eat a W Winston. Um, different quarterbacks, same results. Man, my people in New York, because we all got a group chat with them, and they were going on and on and on. And I'm like, what are y'all surprised about? Don't they do this every game? They get your hopes up. They're leading the game, and you know damn well it don't matter how much they up. Did Denver prove this to y'all? It don't matter how much you up on them. They're gonna come back and win. So, and that's what the Packers did. It did come down to now. I will not fault Jameis for the interception that he threw at the end of the game. The
Yeah.
receiver pulled up, and Jameis ended up looking. Jameis did exactly what he was supposed to do. He did ignite that offense. He even took it in and ran it in for a touchdown. But at the end of the game, when they had a chance to come back, his receiver let him down because he pulled up on the play. If he had continued to run that route all the way through, he would have caught that ball in the end zone. He
Yeah.
tied it. So, unfortunately, that did not translate into a win. Packers pull out 27-20. Rand, I saw one yesterday and I couldn't believe it. Do you know that at one point, the Texans and the Titans at halftime was 3-0 Tennessee.
Yeah. The Putrid Bowl.
I mean, listen, I know CJ Stroud is down and Davis Mills got to start, which he didn't look bad when he came in for Stroud last game. So you would think with a whole week of reps, knowing who the number one's going to be with the ones, he'd be more prepared, the offense be more prepared, and everything else. And statistically, he didn't have a bad game. 26 of 41, 274, and one touchdown. A lot of that came in the second half when he really started getting Nico Collins involved because Nico ended up with 9 catches and 92 yards. But they were not moving that ball at all in the first half of that game against the Titans, who gave up a lot of their players on a fire sale at the trade deadline. Ain't had no business.
Yeah.
That game ain't had no business being as close as it was.
No, but it's just, like I said, it's just two putrid offenses. I mean, Cam Ward, and it's not him, just Cam Ward. I mean, that entire offense is a freaking mess. When you're both the leading rusher and the leading passer for offense, I mean, your offense got some serious problems. Tony Pollard averaging 2 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done, man. So.
Well, I never saw Tony Pollard as a number one back. I mean, he would have good spells when he would come in behind Zeke back in Dallas and stuff like that. Or it. Tony Pollard reminded me of the same thing that I saw the dynamic between Jalen Warren and Najee, where Najee was the feature, Ezekiel, Jalen was the spellback, and the spellback would come in and get more yards per carry than the starter, and people would go, maybe he should be the starter. Then he
Yeah,
comes
for
in to
real.
be the starter, and now he's getting them same yards per carry as the guy before him.
Yeah, and the guy that's spelling him has got a better yard per average every.
Very well,
Yeah.
right? Who's sitting there tearing it up every time he gets a chance.
Yeah, it's
So,
all about just keeping the guys fresh. Whoever got the fresher legs, not everybody is meant to be that bell cow running back. And I think, like you just said, Tony Pollard is not that bell cow. He's more the
Never
spell
was.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
Titans are dumb. They gave him all that money. So,
They said, well, if he did that in Dallas, we can. Don't fall for
no,
that. Yeah,
no.
because the Panthers did that a couple years ago with Miles Sanders. Man, you see
Sure
what he
did.
did for the Eagles? Let's give him $25 million.
Yep.
Okay. and and then what happened? Chuba, who was making about $7.50 an hour at the time, was killing. Oh Lord, Chuba working at Food Line on the weekends and everything, and we done paid Miles Sanders all that money. So yeah, that was crazy. But you never know, and I get that, but it's just kind of funny sometimes how that works out. You pay a guy all this money, and then the backup is just as serviceable, if not better. I think of Kareem Hunt and Pacheco all the time when it comes to Kansas City. Pacheco
Mhm.
inevitably gets hurt. Kareem Hunt comes in and just keeps it going. So that same kind of dynamic with that. But yeah, we had the Bears and the Vikings. The Bears ran to do their thing. They ended up beating the Vikings yesterday, 19-17, behind decent play from Caleb Williams, 16 of 32, so 50%, 193 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. JJ McCarthy looked like the second year but rookie that he is, 16 to 32, same amount, but only 150 yards, one touchdown, but two crucial picks. And one of them was really, really bad. Wow.
Yeah, again, just two more putrid offenses, man. I mean, this game was a little better, 19-17. Came down to a missed field goal to
Yeah.
end the game, I do believe.
Yep.
But
What was
just
60?
again,
It was 62 yards, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you got two NFL quarterbacks passing for 50% on the day,
Yeah.
and 100 some yards between the both of them. It's just, and we're seeing this a lot all of a sudden. These 10-7 games, these 16-10 games,
hmm
these
hmm
19-17 games, these struggle fest offensively.
Yes.
Um, don't know what's up with it, but I'm sure hoping for a fix.
You remember, man, there was a time when we had so many quarterbacks routinely at the end of a game throw for over 300 yards.
Hmm. Yeah, not too
I
long
mean,
ago.
just on the regular.
Yeah,
Just you already knew you could bank if you were doing FanDuel back then and you wanted to bet the over under on 300 yards. You would always go with the over.
yeah.
Man, there's some games now where they got it on FanDuel where the lowest tonight betting on Geno Smith's yardage 125.
Again, high school quarterback type crap, man.
Like
It's wild what's going on right
why
now.
is that even an option?
Right.
But it is because as Bryce Young has shown in previous games, hold my beer. I won't even make it to 100
Right. Plenty of times.
in 4 quarters, and you played all 4 quarters. Like you didn't miss time in the blue tent. You played.
Hmm.
You didn't get benched for. You didn't pull a Keon Coleman and get benched for a quarter. You played the whole time, and you threw. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's getting a little crazy with that. Totally agree with you on that. Um, then we also had, of course, the Bengals and the Steelers, 34-12 by the Steelers. Good old Mason Rudolph comes in after Aaron Rodgers he broke his wrist, right?
Yeah, man. They're saying wrist injury. Don't know how severe the break is. It's not his throwing hand. It's on the opposite hand. It seemed to be bothering him a whole lot yesterday during the game, in the second half. So it was hard to determine, is it something that he had and aggravated or something that he picked up during the game yesterday? I
Mm,
don't know. But
okay.
back to what I was saying though
Yep.
earlier, I mean, you're just seeing right before your eyes kind of the decline of Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. Um, he did not look sharp at all last week. Not looking sharp is an understatement. He was terrible last week versus the Chargers. And then the week prior to that, even though the Steelers won, uh, we had to get a whole lot of turnovers in order to win the game because he was not very sharp there either. Now, percentage wise, he looks good. I mean, still passing the rate of over like 65%, I guess. Just guessing at that one. And he's throwing more touchdowns and interceptions, but he's also taking way more sacks than what's needed. The number one thing that you start to look for when you look at a quarterback's decline is not the arm strength, it's the indecisiveness. And
Mm-hmm.
if you look at this dude in the pocket, he is looking all over the place. He doesn't seem to have a lock on the primary read. And then when he's trying to evade the pocket, it's almost comical because, dude, you're 41. You're not going to outrun nobody at this stage.
Yeah.
So I was kind of glad to see Mason Rudolph coming to the game. I don't know what we're going to do going forward, if it's going to be Mason or a hurt Rodgers. It's kind of 50-50 from what I'm hearing, both from fans and from like inside information. But in my opinion, you're not any worse off with a healthy Mason Rudolph than Aaron Rodgers in this state. Um, Unless Aaron could get back to the status of game one, I mean, I was worried about him being able to finish the year. I mean, it's just looking that
Same.
bad.
Well, I was too, only from the standpoint of, even I think it wasn't this game, but it was the game before where Aaron tried to take off and run, and his mind said do it, and his body said, "Oh no, hell you don't," and he got tracked down from behind because he just can't. That's what made him special in his early years in Green Bay is that he protected the ball. He
Yeah,
could he could extend plays by his those little rollouts and things that he did, and be able to let Cobby or Jordy Nelson and some of them guys get freed up down the field and stuff like that. And his mind tells him he can still do that, but his body is like, no, hell, you can't. But I agree with you when you're right. When it's like a point guard on a basketball team, you're the guy that has the ball in your hand all the time. You have to distribute the ball, but to be able to distribute the ball, you have to see what's in front of you, and a lot of times you have to see it before it actually happens because
hmm
your anticipation is the gift, is being able to see the play develop before it actually develops, so that when you're ready to make that pass, there is, because if you hesitate just that 1 second, that's when somebody's going to steal the ball, that's when there's going to be a turnover and those kind of things. The same thing with the quarterback. You got to have that anticipation in there to be able to see that play develop out. But if you hesitate because you don't trust what you're seeing, or you need that extra second to actually see it, man, these corners and safeties are too good to give them that extra second.
yeah. These
You got a
defensive
guy for a
ends are
little bit.
pretty good too. You give a defensive end an extra second, you're going to end up on your back, and that's what's been happening with Aaron,
Right.
man.
Exactly right.
It's like he'll drop back. The primary read, I guess he doesn't trust it. He tries to look at something else. He doesn't trust that either. And now he's trying to run or trying to
Man,
extend plays with his legs, and he's just not fast enough
if you're on
or
your
athletic enough anymore.
if you're that age and you're on your third progression, throw the ball away
Yeah,
because
he's
you're
like,
about to hit the ground. You ain't got
yep,
that
a
kind of
young
time.
quarterback will have that rhythm in his head. 1,000, 2
One,
1,000, 3,
two,
ball gone. Yeah.
out of bounds.
But, yeah, but other quarterbacks who are struggling to read stuff and struggling to see out there,
CJ
that's
Stroud,
when you're getting that
Michael
CJ
Penix,
Stroud, Michael Penix. You could go on and on.
yep, Anthony
Shador
Richardson,
Sanders yesterday too.
Newark,
Even though
yep.
Shador gets a pass, had to throw him out there too because he was holding the ball forever. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, you're gonna run into stuff like that. And I mean, Aaron is just at that particular stage in his career where I guess he's definitely there. And if he's not there, it's definitely on its way. It's coming. Um, so uh, in the game before against the Chargers, he opened up the series, the game with a scoring, I think, a field goal.
Hmm.
And the Steelers did not score anything else until the last game of the last drive of the game. So you're talking about the first drive of the game, field goal, and the last drive of the game, touchdown.
Wow.
Everything else in between was unwatchable football. Um, and he kind of started off that way again yesterday, before prior to the injury. So I don't know. I don't know what Aaron we're gonna get moving forward. Maybe it was aggravating him so much that it was like causing him to be, a downfall in his play. But I mean, it's his left hand, so I just
Yeah.
don't buy that.
Well, it depends on how much discomfort that's going to be because inevitably you're going to fall. Normally, when you fall, you use one of your hands to brace the fall. You can't be out there sitting there going, okay, which hand do I brace with? Do I brace with my throwing hand or my offhand? Because my offhand, even though it's not my throwing hand, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
eventually, how much, what is your pain threshold going to be to allow you to be able to play through that, even though you're not using it? Defensive players getting your way, they're trying to smack the ball down. If they nick you even a little bit on that offhand, how does that sit there and uh, uh, force you to compensate when you're trying to throw with the other hand and stuff like that? So, do you think that they can? If Rodgers has to be out for any sustained amount of time, can they maintain their division lead, knowing that Baltimore is trying to creep back into the picture?
I don't think it would be the fault of Mason Rudolph if they can't. Because I mean he's just as good as Aaron is right now, from what I'm seeing. I
Mm.
mean Mason came into the game yesterday and looked pretty daggone good
He
for
was
a guy
pretty
from
accurate. I mean, he only threw 16 times, but he hit 12 of them.
right. He was moving the ball. Um, he was extending those third downs to keep Cincinnati off the field. He was looking really really good. Now of course moving forward when teams get a chance to game plan against him, we'll see what's up with the next game. But he's also kind of a guy that's been there, done that. He started games for Pittsburgh in the past, so I'm not
Yep.
really afraid of that.
Right.
Um, the thing I am afraid of is just this stagnant offense. Again, it's Metcalf and nobody else as far as the receivers, and we're trusting a bunch of tight ends to do the job. The running game is okay at times, and then it struggles at times.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you bring up the Metcalf thing, and the crazy thing is that your backup running back was your leading receiver.
mhm.
Gainwell seven for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That is not the sign of an offense just clicking. It's
Well,
just not
they're not balanced. And we've said
not
this from
balanced
the
at all.
beginning of the season that you can't have DK Metcalf on one side and nobody on the other side because then the defense is going to put number one, their best corner on him. And at times they may throw a safety over the top to help.
Yeah, and he's just been completely taken out of game since the early part of the season,
And then what they're going to do is they're going to dare you to run the ball so that
and
you have
dare
to
you to
drop a
find
safety.
somebody else. Yep,
Yes. And
yep,
if you can't run, then they're going to keep doubling your number one and stagnate your offense because you need a
yep.
balance. That's why you got to have a one and a two or one A, one B type of situation so that they can't home in
Absolutely,
on that. You got to have a,
absolutely.
a Lamb Pickens combination. You got to have a T Higgins, Jamar Chase combination. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Hot Tua Gate got me. Um, so speaking of Hot Tua Gate,
What a
that's
jackass, man! What a
I mean,
complete
what is it with these
jackass!
guys that want to spit?
And then lie, then
And then
lie.
lie about it. I ain't spit on nobody.
Yeah,
I was
when
about
you
to say
got
the
a
N word.
thousand cameras out there from a thousand different viewpoints.
They done called him, and now they done suspended his ass. They should
Yeah,
have suspended him 2 games. One for
exactly.
doing it,
That's
and
what
two
happened.
for lying about it, not being accountable. At least Jalen Carter at the beginning of that Eagles Cowboys game, he knew what he did, and he said, "You know
Mhm.
what? I can't do that. I'm sorry."
Yeah, yeah. I
Jamar
just think
just
it's
flat
getting
out
out of
said, "I
hand.
ain't spit on that man."
Yeah, I think it's this spitting thing is getting out of hand. I think it needs to be an automatic too, just to
Me too.
deter guys from doing it anymore. It's one of the most despicable acts you can do, and if you're, you know, if you're that stringent when it comes to taunting, you got to be just as
I
stringent
mean,
for something that is not good for the game as far as spitting, because you
what do
spit
you
on
think?
somebody, people tend to forget about the game, and that's just what Jalen Ramsey did yesterday. He no longer cared about the game.
Yeah, he blacked out, and I don't
Yep,
blame him.
I
And
don't
and
blame him either.
and I don't. I'm sure he's still, unfortunately, going to get suspended. I hadn't heard yet if he has, but I know Chase did, or if he's going to get fined or what the case may be because he threw a punch. But you know why he threw the punch. He said that was why. You knew that Jamar Chase had to say more than something about his mama for
Yeah,
him to explode like that. Something else had to have happened, and it did. Um, and if the spitter is only getting one game, that would be to me wrong that the guy that retaliated would get the same punishment.
yeah. I don't think he's gonna get suspended.
He should.
I'd be shocked if he got suspended. Maybe
Yeah,
fined for
he
the
gonna have something in
punch.
his mailbox. I mean, yeah, in his
Yeah,
locker.
yeah. Maybe fined. I seriously doubt a suspension. I mean,
It better not.
what
I mean,
kind of
because
message with that sin?
it would be a terrible one.
Hmm.
This has got to stop. And I expect more from Jamar Chase than that. That's just that's just below the. There is nothing. Look, y'all losing. You're gonna have a losing season. You ain't going nowhere. I get all of that, bro. But man, that is not the Steelers' fault that y'all suck.
Yeah,
That's y'all defense's fault. Number one.
yeah.
Um,
I just got no respect for that dude
me
anymore.
neither. That just because you remember
Uh-uh.
when Jalen Carter did it, I was like, trade him.
Yeah, you did. Yep,
I was like, I don't even want you. I don't want the stench of you on my team. As
yep.
much as I love what you did last night, man. And look, I know that we ain't trying to sit there and put a bunch of choir boys on teams. I get the whole bad boys and stuff like that, but spitting is a whole nother level to me. And
Whole
and,
nother
and, and,
level.
and just because also of the connotations of black men getting spat on is
Exactly.
just and for you to be another black man in the oof, oof,
The whole history as such is something that you just don't
bruh,
even want to travel down that road. Um,
exactly. Why would you
so
do that? Like
yep,
there's nothing that dude could have done to you, holding on you, tugging on you, DPIs that didn't get caught, whatever. The
nope.
conclusion can't be I got to spit on you.
Keep your spit in your mouth and to yourself, because once that flies, again, people black out, forget about the game. If you're
Yeah.
looking for the integrity of the game, then you need to send a message here. And that message, in my opinion, should be 2 game suspension for anybody else that does this crap.
Agreed.
You got to eliminate it right now.
The rules committee meets after every season and comes up with things. They gotta put something in there for that. They
They
got
do. I mean,
and the sad part is that they have to.
yeah, it's more egregious than throwing a punch to me. I mean,
Oh,
you're
fact.
dealing with a whole bunch of grown men that's got testosterone raging high. Of course, you're gonna get a punch thrown here or there or a shove here and there, but not spitting, man. No.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's just crazy. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey. Hopefully, it's just a fine and a small one at that. Hopefully, the fine that they give Jamar Chase is one that he can feel because he's gonna lose a game check for missing a game, but he need to lose a little bit more than that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. We had the Bucks travel up to Buffalo to face the Bills, and the Bills took care of the Buccaneers, even though it was a high scoring game, 32-44 ran. So neither defense played well, but both quarterbacks did their came to play. They did their thing. You had Baker Mayfield didn't throw a whole lot of yards. 16 of 28, 173, one touchdown. But they got a lot accomplished on the ground. Sean Tucker ran it for 2 scores. Then you had Josh Allen, 19 of 33, 17. He did put up 3 touchdowns. He believe he ran for another one. But he also threw 2 picks. James Cook did not have the running game that he normally does, only 16 carries for 48 yards. But the Bills always find different ways to score. This is also a game, too, where Keon Coleman, I believe, was a healthy scratch for simply not attending team meeting.
Not off to a good start, my dude. Kelvin Benjamin part 2.
Right. Oh my God. I hope he don't blow up like KB did. That was just crazy.
He got the body frame. I will give him that.
Right. Yeah, so that was crazy. But again, Buffalo is still on the outside looking in with playoff implications, wild card implications, and things like that. So we'll see um, if the Patriots just have too much commanding of a lead, which I think they do. I don't really see them slowing down anytime soon. And if Buffalo is going to make it into the playoffs, it's going to be a wild card at best.
Which also seems crazy in my mind because, at the beginning of the season, I just had Buffalo just tagged to win the AFC East and nobody else even competing. So, yeah.
Right, because the Patriots showed a little bit of signs last year that they could be competitive. And I'm wondering if they're going to be the Commanders of this year. Where are they peaking too soon? I'm not as concerned with that, only because Mike Vrabel has kind of come in and reworked that whole team from defense to offense. So I'm not as concerned about that. It just seemed like Washington last year caught lightning in the bottle when they did it, and they just became the darlings. Everybody fell in love with Jaden Daniels and his $1 million smile, and the things he was able to do with that team, and people getting over the whole Dan Snyder era, wanting to see that team kind of distance themselves as much away from being that old dreaded team with that dreaded name for so long. Anyway, so they were looking for anything to hold on to when it came to that team. Methinks.
Yeah, when you if the Patriots go through a bunch of injuries and lose Drake May, then they're going to find themselves in that exact same position.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I am seeing Drake use his legs a little bit more sparingly, and maybe they kind of told him to do that when it's not design runs and things like that. Because I remember at one point he was kind of doing the same thing as Jaden Daniels. He was leading the team in rushing because they were not accounting for him out there. And I get it. You see that patch of grass in front of you, ain't nobody out there. Hey, go ahead and get it. Jackson Dart learning the hard way. You can't always do that, or if you do, you better learn how to slide. Just so that you can make sure that you make it to the goal of a quarterback is to make it to the end of the season. That's got to be the goal. Because there's so many other guys out there trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. So you got to make sure that you're making that happen.
I've just been very impressed with what Drake May is doing with, of course he has Stephon Diggs, but I mean,
yes,
the other receivers, you're talking about, a bunch of nobodies. I hate to call them nobodies, but they're not names in this league.
No.
But he's steadily putting up the passing yards with these guys out there.
And that's
how you elevate a team.
I was about to say that's what you call a force multiplier. Is somebody that can sit there and take those no names and make them productive. They may not be productive anymore in their career. They go to a different team. But Drake May has found this chemistry with these guys where he can actually elevate their play.
Yeah.
There was another quarterback in New England that used to do that all the time with no names.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, don't come at me. I didn't say Drake May was Tom Brady. That ain't what I said. They just played on the same team. That's all. That's all I said. Because Drake can definitely run better than Brady ever could.
No doubt about that one.
So yeah, don't get it twisted. I ain't saying that, y'all. We brought up earlier the Jaguars playing against the Chargers, beat them handedly 35-6. Neither quarterback did a lot, but Justin Herbert's 10 for 18 for 81 yards ran. I would have lost my FanDuel bet.
Wow.
He played all 4 quarters. 10 for 18.
God, it's just hard to figure out. And I didn't watch the game. I haven't even seen a highlight. So
don't sound like there were many.
Yeah. It's really, it looks to me like Jacksonville dominated the time of possession here.
They did. They did because it was 37 minutes to 22.
Goodness, yeah, that's okay.
That,
That's what I thought.
that's a whole quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
A whole quarter. Here's another fun fact: penalties. 5 for 71 for the Chargers, 1 for 5 yards, which is normally what pre-snap motion.
Mm-hmm.
Because even a holding call is 10 yards. So one accepted penalty for 5 yards, 5 for 71. That puts you in a bad position. They allowed 3 sacks for the Chargers. They did not take Sunshine down once. They ran 24 more plays than the Chargers. They were 5 of 10 on third. The Chargers were 3 of 12. Here here you go, Rand. This is it right here. This tells you everything else. If I hadn't said none of that other stuff, Chargers had a total of eight first downs.
Oh my God, man!
The Jags had 30.
That is.
You had 4 quarters and you had 8 first downs.
Yeah,
Two a damn quarter.
Just anytime you're looking at a quarterback with 18 pass attempts, you're like, okay, so they must have controlled the ball through running,
Right.
But no, not in this case, because their leading rusher only had 5 attempts. And he wasn't even their leading rusher. I mean, Herbert was their leading rusher, but
Right.
their leading running back only had 5 attempts. So it's like they had to have been off the field, and they were.
They ran for 42 yards in that game. The Jaguars ran for $1.92.
Yeah, that's ugly. That is ugly. That's one of them games that's so ugly, so bad that don't even watch the tape. Don't even watch the tape. Just move on to the next game.
Because what are you gonna learn from that game when you only had 8? When you only had 8 first downs?
Absolutely nothing. Where are the teachable moments in that game?
The only teachable moment is if y'all do this again and we on the road, find your way home. You ain't getting back on the team plane. Find your way home. That's despicable. That's crazy. That's all you need to know, though. Yeah. That was. Woo. And for Herbert to do some Bryce Young kind of numbers. Oh my God, bro!
Yeah.
What you tell Bryce Young? Hold my beer. Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, did they switch souls like Freaky Friday? It's like, what the hell, man?
They must have bumped heads or something, or maybe hell, man, ain't no telling. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. But while I've been holding back, let me go ahead and talk about them damn Carolina Panthers, who sat there and beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-27 in overtime. Should have just beat them in regulation, but the kick at the end, the punt or the kickoff, not the punt, the kickoff at the end, where I wasn't questioning them going for it on 4th down, but when they kicked it and let the returner get damn near the midfield with very little time that came off the clock, that put them in field goal position early without having to use timeouts, is what put it to overtime.
Yeah, that was a gift. That was a gift for them to start at the 40-yard line. I mean, you got to do better job of special teams than that. But hey, man, props, hats off to Bryce Young. I'm not ready to remove the bust label to Bryce Young yet. Of course, it was one game. But I will say that I was amazed. I was amazed at the passes that he was making. Decision making he was doing. He was accurate, strong with the ball,
pushing it downfield.
Pushing it downfield. He was gritty. He was injured in that game and got right back in the game. I think he waved off the card at one point. That's being a leader. That's what's up. That's what being a leader is about, man. But here's the thing. That was one game. You got to start stacking these games. And I ain't
Yes.
saying to go out and throw for 400 yards against the 49ers next Monday night, but at least don't be the reason that you lose or get creamed by the 49ers on national TV. Don't be that.
Right.
Put
Well,
together another strong performance.
Rand, I watched the game and I was like, oh man, he's heating up. But I saw some things in this game that he does not normally do. And when he did them, it gave him positive plays. A couple of them come to mind. A lot of the passes to Jalen Coker and Leggett, especially that touchdown to Leggett. The one thing that he did in that game that he rarely does, that I've been such a critic about for 3 damn years: climb the damn pocket.
Yeah, man.
And when he did, and he saw because when you're small, your line of sight gets obstructed by these big defensive players. Ask Jared Goff last night how many times Carter and my other man kept smacking his balls down because they got so close to him. But what Bryce did every time he got, even the one pass, it looked like a sidearm pass, or even the one he got Tommy Tremble loose with, he stepped up into the pocket. It looked like he was going to take off and run, but before he crossed the line of scrimmage, he found that dude and bing, hit him.
Yeah.
Every single time he did that, he completed a pass. Made Ted McMillan look like the number one pick that we got. 8 receptions, $130, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Leggett, I've been having him on the damn side of a damn milk carton, and then Jalen Coker up in there too.
Yeah, that dude is special. Ted McMillan is special.
Yes,
he could take a little 10-yard across the middle
pass or something like that,
and take that about 30, 40 yards downfield before anybody gets close to him.
Catch it in stride. He catch it, make the first man miss, and then he gone.
Yeah, his stride is something beautiful to watch, man, once he hits the open field. So, yeah, he's like a gazelle. You're right. So special in that regard, man. But, again, just the thing with Bryce Young, you got to stack some of these daggone performances now. Right. Don't go out here against the 49ers and throw 3 picks and 150 yards. Don't do that because this good performance is gonna go to waste. And all that everybody's gonna say is, oh, he just beat the Falcons.
Right. Now, the important thing was 2 things. They beat the Falcons, that's true. They swept the Falcons. So we got our I-85 bragging rights for whatever that is. But they also swept a divisional opponent, which really counts to me as 2 games.
It is 2 games
because you own any tiebreakers, which they're not in any position right now to challenge you for a tiebreaker. But if the season starts to tighten at the end, they can't even just match your record because you have the tiebreaker head to head.
Yeah.
So that keeps see what I did there head to head, y'all. Anyway, they own that, and Rand. Here's the other thing that I want to see out of the Panthers. Right now, you are half a game out of first place in the NFC South. You are playing for something right now. Last year when Bryce came on late, they had nothing to play for, and he looked good, and everybody's like, well, you see that? You see that? Brian, you was what Brad be telling me. Don't be talking about my grandbaby. You was wrong about it. He even sent me a text yesterday talking about Brian. He growing. I said, yeah, because he did what the hell I told him to do. He stood in the. He climbed the pocket. And that's good. When he does that, good things happen. Hey, I can actually see I didn't know I had this many receivers out here. How about that?
Yeah.
But you're right. He's got to be able to stack it. And what a better time to stack these wins is when it means the most for you to do so. Because if Tampa slips just a little bit, they messed up. Had they beat New Orleans last week like they should have, they would be in first place this week.
Exactly. And
That's
that's
how
what I'm
much
getting
that
at.
game could come back to bite them in the ass.
Big time. You
You
don't
lost
don't
to a team that is not going to win anything this year, is
you,
going to finish in fourth place. You gave them a win that they didn't
gave
need,
him
but you
gave
did.
him the ball, and you was home when you did it. It's just
Damn,
it was a terrible look, man.
terrible. So
So
it's instances like that. Now, is there going to be one of these games down the schedule that people aren't necessarily looking at the Panthers to do well in that they can sit there and do something? Is it the San Francisco game? Is it another game down the road that they're going to be able to take that, run with it, and be able to say, okay, hey y'all, we got a shot to sit there and try to make up some ground? Well, you still got two games with Tampa. That's going to be hard. You got a game coming up with the Rams. That's going to be hard, even though it's at Carolina. You got a rematch with the Saints in New Orleans. You need to go down there and show them that yeah, you made uh what that boy rookie name look like Peyton Manning out there, shook, but that's not gonna happen again. And then you fit, and then on the last game in December, you got the Seahawks coming to town. Sam Darnold, you gonna let Sam Darnold get his revenge, or y'all gonna whip his ass? But you're gonna have
yeah,
to take a couple of these games because I believe the only way for them to actually win the division, they're gonna have to win 10 or 11. You're already at 6. Who you beating outside of the Saints to be able to get that's 7 if you can beat the Saints. You got out of that, the rest of that, the Rams, the Bucks twice, and the 49ers and the Seahawks.
exactly. Ain't none of that looking likely. Ain't none of that looking likely. So in my eyes, I would be very surprised if we won enough games to do playoffs. But where I'm sitting at right now, can we get 3 more and just finish with a winning season 9-8? That would be a lot of progress
Will nine
based
and eight,
on
will nine and
what
eight in
we've
the
come
NFC
into
get you?
last time.
Will 9 and 8 in the NFC get you though a wild card?
Maybe, but I'm not even interested in the playoffs. I don't think they're strong enough to contend.
No, it'll
I
be a
don't
one
think
and
they're
done,
strong enough. Right.
and
I
it'll be
don't
on the
think they're
road.
strong enough to even win a playoff game. So I'm more interested in that 9-8. If they could get to 9-8, even if they missed the playoffs, it would be a hell of a good season. Just based on what we thought we were getting into at the beginning of the year.
Well, they're in ninth place right now. Um, and you could almost say they're tied with 8. Again, they're a half game behind the Detroit Lions because the Lions are 6-4, just like the Bucks. Um, so they're not even a full 9. They're like 8.5. They're really a game and a half out of 7th place. And the
Yeah,
teams behind them are so far behind, they can't really catch them. So again, Carolina controls their own destiny. The problem is they're now starting to get into the hell part of their season when they
and
should have
that's a
been
problem.
stacking wins earlier, so they
Yeah,
wouldn't. So the pressure wouldn't be on them to have to win so many games out of their last 6. They got 6 games left, and they're going to have to at least go 4-2 to be able to win the division, and maybe even 3-3 to make it to the playoffs.
yeah. So they're 6-5 right now, right?
Hmm.
Um, Finding 3 victories out of what they got left on the schedule is going to be tough,
Yeah.
very tough.
Well, I mean, they're
The
gonna have to
Saints, I
upset
give them.
somebody. Yeah, but you would have to split
The Saints,
Tampa,
I give them.
and then can you beat the Rams, the Niners, or the Seahawks? Can you catch them on a bad day? Well, 2 of them are home games, the Rams and the Seahawks. I got more faith that they can beat the Seahawks than they can beat the Rams or the Niners.
Yeah, just they're all going to be tough. That's a
They
tough,
are gonna
tough
be
act.
tough. The only thing is
Yeah,
you getting Sam Darnold, who if your defense rattles him early, that could help because if he and JSA can't get on the same page, if you can control what Charbonnet and Walker are doing in that backfield, you got a shot. Um,
that's a big if though with
that's
a
a lot of.
defense
I know
that
that's.
doesn't
I know
blitz
that's a lot of ifs,
and
but I don't.
defense that
I don't
ain't
see
got a
those ifs.
sacker.
I don't see those ifs at all with Stafford having Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua, and those guys, and then you got Kyron Williams and um, Borum out there in that backfield. They can't stop the run, and they got a good running game. And if they can't get to Stafford and bring him down, he got time back there to throw that ball. Devontae he gonna like well, I ain't even worried so much about Devontae, even though he gonna get his. Puka gonna make it look stupid. Um,
Yeah.
that's a one man wrecking crew. And then with the Niners, Purdy just got back, and they responded very well to Purdy yesterday coming back. I was a little wondering, hey, Mac Jones has been playing pretty good. Do you really need to go ahead and just throw Brock Purdy out there, or is that going to be some timing issues and things like that? And hey, he put a lot of that to rest. Came out there and put up 41 points in that game.
Steelers, please holler at Mac Jones on the offseason. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled program.
You need to hire Mac Jones, and you probably need to go ahead and get Tyreek or some qualified receiver to put on the other side of DK Metcalf.
God, please do that.
Oh, speaking of that NFC West out there, the Rams and the Seahawks had a hell of a game yesterday. You know, it was. I still laugh every time I think about them wondering about how Matthew Stafford's back was going to hold up. Now, he didn't have the most uh, great game yardage yesterday, but he's 15 to 28. He was 15 to 28, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I will say this: Matthew Stafford ran at 37 years old is 5th in passing this year with 2,557 yards, only behind Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, who's passing for a lot of yards but can't win no damn games. Even 81 yards yesterday, he's number 2. And then Drake May is number 1. These don't even sound real.
Crazy year.
Hey,
Crazy year.
let me tell you the top 5 rushers real quick. Tell me if you thought this order would make sense. The first 2 I could kind of give you, even though I would have expected Derrick Henry to be one of them. Jonathan Taylor, James Cook.
Sounds
1 and 2.
good.
Okay.
Mm.
Number 3, Devon Achane.
Would not have guessed that one.
Okay. Here's number 4. Okay, I'm going to tell you who number 5 is first. Number 5 is Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Number 4, Rico.
Rico Suave.
Rico Suave's number 4. This year is just upside down. Don't make no damn sense.
It is very much upside down.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. But and then I look at the sack leaders too. Myles Garrett is just a beast. Man, I don't know why Howie Roseman didn't go after Myles. If we could have got Myles got 15 sacks already. 15. Brian Burns, Spider-Man got 13. And those are the only 2 in double digits so far.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy.
And then when I look at the leaders in tackles, number 2 is a Washington Commander named Bobby Wagner.
Oh yeah, that's kind of been his MO no matter where he's been. So yeah.
But he ain't no spring chicken.
He ain't no spring chicken no more. No.
That's crazy. So yeah, I see stuff like that, Rand, and I'm just like in awe that you see a guy that's been around the league as long as he has and still performing at a high level. That's, hats off to Bobby Wagner when I saw his name pop up on those stats. But Rico Dowdle, number 4 in rushing. I mean, above Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts. Now he's only beating Henry by like 26 yards, but still to be in that top 5 conversation, that's pretty damn strong. That should tell the Panthers where your bread and butter is. Even though he didn't have that good of a game yesterday, that should tell you where your bread is buttered.
Yep.
For sure. And let's close out quick. We got the Ravens that played the Browns. Of course, they came back in that game. The Browns were winning. Dylan Gabriel goes out, gets concussed. Shador Sanders comes in. Didn't have the best game, but what would you expect from somebody that has not all season gotten any first-team reps at all?
That is absolutely ridiculous from Kevin Stefanski. I mean, this dude, what he's doing with Shador is criminal. I'll just keep it at that. It is criminal.
Big time. Big time.
where do you even start? You're going to treat this guy that you know is a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be so disrespectful to not give him any runs with the first team,
Yep.
though you know you got a quarterback carousel that's going on right now in Cleveland, and you know the potential in this league for injury. Um, Guys get hit, concussed. They have, even if they don't miss the whole game, they got to come out the game for a little bit sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and the backup has to come in. You don't prepare for that in football as a
Oh,
as a head coach. You don't
and
make
he's
a
their number
preparation
two.
for that.
He ain't the emergency quarterback. He's
Yeah,
QB2.
he's QB2, and you ain't got him practicing with the first team. So a lot of people came out with the jokes yesterday. Oh, he was 4 out of 16. Blah blah blah. Oh, he looked terrible. You would look terrible too if you were thrown into that situation. And I'm not the type that makes excuses for people. I'm really not. But I
Mm-hmm.
just keep it real, man. He's got no run with the first team, which means he don't have any consistency with any of the wide receivers.
Yep.
Even the cadences and stuff that he was calling was off. Well, wonder why.
Right.
No run, no practice with the first team.
Exactly right.
Um, they're in a situation where they really can't run the ball. They got to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So that defense knows it's coming. They were pinning their ears back and they were humming at him. Just, they weren't even worried about the run. They were throwing blitzes at him. He's never had that happen to him. The last time he had any really good run was preseason, and they really don't blitz in preseason. So,
Right. It's very vanilla.
yeah, very
They're
vanilla.
not
So,
going to show you a lot of that. Yep. If at
yeah,
all.
but so was it on him? Not in my opinion, man.
Oh
It's
God.
on the head coach.
Yeah.
Completely
I was
responsible.
coaching. Yeah. I mean, you got to prepare your players. I mean, a head. That's mostly what a head coach does. Is why do you think the games are only once a week? You spend the other days of the week preparing,
Yeah.
film, walkthroughs, everything else is preparation for that game. So yeah, absolutely. Unless you have a Thursday game, and then yes, y'all, there are 2 games in a week. For some time. You had the Chiefs and the Broncos. Broncos came back in that game, and eked it out 22-19, puts them at 9-2, puts the Chiefs at 5-5. This is definitely going to be the Broncos' year to win that division. The Chiefs can only hope and pray for a wild card, but they would have to do a whole lot. They got 7 games left, and for me, Randy, again, this is another team. They're going to damn near either have to run the table. They're going to have to go 6-1 at best, because I don't think you get into the AFC without getting over 10. You got to get at least 10. 10 to me is the number. But I can see a 10-win team not making it depending on head-to-head matchups and stuff like that. Because I could see there being a jumble of a bunch of 10-win teams, and it's going to come down to tiebreakers and stuff.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it over?
No.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Think they got some life left?
Mm-hmm.
They
Um,
better. That's all I'll
um,
say. They better.
Kelsey
They-
Kelsey looked like he still got a little bit of hell outside of them. He was really the one. 9 receptions for 91 yards. I mean, you got your old ass tight end being the most heavily targeted guy.
yeah.
I think the Chiefs still have the same problems that they've always had. They blamed it on the receivers. 2 years ago, when they went to the Super Bowl, they blamed it on the receivers dropping balls. Their running game didn't look that good, but I think they still have line issues. I still don't think they really firmly addressed their line issues. Now, is it a little bit better than it was? Yeah, but that Eagles defense that played against Detroit last night, if they saw that Kansas City line again like that, same result.
Same result.
It would be same result. Don't come to the Super Bowl with that line again. And hell, they might not even go to the playoffs with that line again because they might not go to the playoffs. It is that dire of a situation. Um, do I think that this year is going to be that down year? Yes. Do I think that means that their door is closed? No, no.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes and Andy Reid will go figure it out, but they're gonna have to retool a whole lot of stuff. They can't keep doing this. Uh, Spagnola does really good with his defense and stuff like that, but the offense has to give them a little bit more help. You cannot just score 19 points.
They've
and they
dug
go
such a big hole for themselves this year,
they
starting
did.
off 0-2, I believe.
Mhm. That's what
And
really hurt.
yeah, and then losing that game yesterday and letting the Broncos get so far ahead of them in the season,
100%.
they have a severe uphill climb to make it now. But like you, I'm not counting them out. I don't think they're dead. Um, I think they could turn it around, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, like I said, the way the Chargers are playing lately, if they just go into a tailspin and pull a Arizona Cardinals at the end of a season, then and the Chiefs take advantage of that, yeah, you could kind of see it flip. You could, but we'll see. We got a game going on right now. We got the Cow Bitches and the Raiders, and it's currently 3-0. Raiders, not Cow Bitches. With Geno Smith already 4-5 for 28 yards. And looks like Dak is 0 for 1. So let's go Raiders. Red,
Hell
what
yeah.
any games that you're looking at this week coming up?
Yes, the biggest game I'm looking at is the Monday night affair that we were just talking about. Will Bryce Young follow it up with another good performance? Can he start to stack these games? Or will he, turn around and be the same old Bryce that we're used to seeing, 3 picks, 150 yards? This is one of the most important games that the Panthers have played, and it's on a national stage within the last, I'd say 5 years. Uh, can they get it done? I doubt it, but can they look good in the process? I hope so.
That's going to say a lot because a lot is going to be made of number one, it's going to be in San Francisco, but it's going to feature Christian McCaffrey versus Rico Dowdle.
Mhm.
How is McCaffrey going to look against his old team? Um, is going to look at Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the last person taken in the draft, against Bryce Young, the first person taken in the draft.
Yep.
Man, there's so many damn storylines there. You're going to look at the young coach in Dave Canales going against um, um Cal Shanahan, uh, and how that goes. Uh, Two opportunistic defenses. You're going to look at some young receivers, whether it's Pearsall versus Leggett, whether you've got George Kittle, now you got Sanders, and you got all these other tight end matchups and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot into this game. That is definitely going to be a big game. Of course, my big one is going to be Sunday at 4:25 when my Eagles have to go to Jerry's World and beat the hell out of them cow bitches.
And that is exactly what's going to happen.
I got that. The Bills got to go down to the Texans, to Houston on Thursday. Rand, I think the Bills are going to run away with that game. You would at least think so on paper. If the Texans had a hard time with the Titans, the Bills going to give them a whole lot of hell. Is what I'm looking
Mhm.
at. Colts got to play the Chiefs. Is this a get right game for the Chiefs? If the Colts win this game, I will go ahead and say on record that the Chiefs are dead this year.
It's a huge game for them. That's a
Big
huge,
game.
huge game.
The Seahawks lost that nail biter to San Francisco. They get a little bit of a hopefully a ease back in against the Titans. That should be an easy game. We'll see if Tennessee puts up a fight because sometimes when you have nothing to lose, you just lay it all out there.
They just seem dead to me.
Yeah. You got the Vikings and the Packers. It is in Green Bay. The Vikings don't look good. The Packers, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. We'll see what's really going on with Josh Jacobs. He looked a little nicked up after the game against the Giants. Doesn't look like he's going to need any kind of surgery or anything. So maybe just a little bit of rest will help him with that. You got the Jets going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. That looks like that's going to get the Ravens another win as they try to inch back into the AFC North conversation round.
Yep, they are coming. They're right on our heels. So we got to keep winning too.
The Giants are going to Detroit to play the Lions. The Lions definitely want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. I think Jared Goff is going to rebound and have a 300-yard game. I think that defense is going to irritate. Aiden Hutchinson is going to eat on Jameis Winston or Jackson Dart, whoever it may be.
Same. Got the Lions.
You got the Steelers going to Chicago to play them pesky Bears. If that defense can really rattle Caleb Williams, it could be a long game for him. If they can control that run game as well, that will be a thing for the Steelers. I'm not concerned at all about Mason Rudolph being prepared for this game against the Bears. I think it's just going to come down to that defense of the Steelers keeping the Bears run game at bay.
Exactly. I mean, we can't be giving up over 100 yards of rushing in that game,
No,
and we cannot
no,
allow Caleb Williams to pass for some 250 yards or something ridiculous like that. We got to control that game defensively to give our offense a chance. But I
exactly.
do got them squeaking it out. Yeah.
Me too. You got the Patriots going to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Should be 9 wins in a row by the time all said and done at that game. You got the Doo-Doos playing the Raiders. I'm going to give it to the Raiders on this one because I just don't see Cleveland being able to hold. I'm not in love with the Raiders, but I just don't see the Browns because if
I
they
ended
can't,
up picking the Raiders for that one too.
yeah, I just don't think that they're preparing well. So how you prepare is how you play.
Yep.
You got the Jaguars going against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been looking better without midriff by playing Jacoby Brissett, but Sunshine is starting to look a little good. ETN starting to look a little good. They got Jacoby Myers down there now, so maybe they have finally put all the pieces to the puzzle together.
Yeah. Got Jacksonville for that one.
Falcons go to New Orleans to face the Aints, and the Aints ain't going to do nothing again. Uh, Penix is out with a PCL, it looks like. And Cousins looks like he could step in and manage that offense against the Saints.
Yeah, I got Atlanta, but barely.
Yeah, you got the Bucks going to LA to face the Rams. They had a big test in Buffalo, didn't work out well for them, and I think the Rams are going to be just as hard. This is a nail biter. It is the Sunday night game, the 8:20 game on NBC. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, to be honest with you.
It is going to be a very good game. Got the Rams in that one.
Same. So that's what we got going on this week, y'all. We got the like I said, the Cow Bitches right now and the Raiders playing. It is still 3-0.
3-0. Cowboys just kicked the field goal.
Oh, yep. Just popped up. 3-3. So there we go. The 3-5-1 Cowboys, the 2-7 Raiders. Oh joy. It's
Thrilling.
Monday night.
Thrilling.
As always, y'all, thanks for tuning in. And just a side note, a point of personal privilege, y'all make sure that you go to Instagram and check my guy Rand and his band Kendrick Colt out at Kendrick Colt on Instagram to catch up on the next time they will be out performing.
Thank you, brother. Greensboro, we're coming to you this weekend, bringing the party to the G-Boro.
You heard them, y'all. Y'all check them out. And lastly, happy betting. Remember, bet with your brain, not with your heart. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all take it easy.